on earth could a judge who made it through law school think that Donald Trump can take the property of the government, the federal government, take it home, and then have to have a special master decide whether they can investigate him?
Because she's biased and corrupt. Like, I don't know what to tell everybody anymore. Like, I've been saying this since he took office. When you allow Republicans to control the courts, you get nothing.
All right, we'll bring our panelists back in for reaction with that news there. Again, that special master being approved to oversee those documents that were taken from Mar-a-Lago. Today, we're pleased to have senior contributor at The Federalist and fellow at the Claremont Institute, Ben Weingarten, plus Red Renaissance PAC president Kim Klacik. Good morning to both of you. Thanks so much for coming on. Kim, obviously, this is going to be covered from a variety of lenses, right, depending on which network that you're watching. But there was this jump on MSNBC to chastise this federal judge even before this whole thing gets started. We don't even know who the special master is going to be or how long it's going to take. The DOJ could still push back on this from a legal standpoint. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, the DOJ could still appeal this ruling, but this is MSNBC, right? So they are very biased. And anything when it comes to President Trump, I believe this is a win, obviously, for President Trump and his team. The DOJ might end up with egg on their face, considering for the fact that they probably should have went to a judge prior to this investigation to make sure that President Trump did not have executive privilege. So now the special master will be able to
All right, I think we're having a little issue with Kim's mic, so hold on just 1 second. Kim, I know you can hear me. We'll get your audio connected again. Ben, I'll jump to you on this, and I'll show this full screen if we can, because essentially what happened here, there's a little bit of legal jargon, but it's the court order, and essentially it says there's going to be a pause on this criminal investigation, at least for the time being, for this special master, again, to review a lot of that material. Does this play into the midterms come early November, Ben?
Well, I think it plays into the midterms insofar as here you have a small victory, at least, for the rule of law, because the very issues that the MSNBC anchor and her panelists were weighing in on is who does control those documents, and then is the government treating them with the propriety that they deserve here? So this is not just a win for President Trump or a potential win for President Trump, depending on if there's an appeal and where that goes, but it's a win for the rule of law in America, and also for about treating the president with the legal rights that a president deserves. You know, people on MSNBC and beyond talk about, well, no one is above the law, and so that justifies this unprecedented raid, unprecedented exfiltration of documents, and then the leaking about those documents, even though the DOJ claims it's going to speak through its court filings and such. Well, Donald Trump has been treated as below the law here. So this is restoring some semblance of law. And it's also worth noting that that interlocutor talking about how this is a biased judge, et cetera, well, that sounds like pretty anti-democratic, anti-institution rhetoric to me. And also from someone, by the way, who's called the Constitution garbage himself. So I don't think he should be the authority on this issue, and I don't think the American people view that as the authority on this issue.
Yeah, and it wasn't a complete win, right? The former president wasn't able to get back all of his things that he had requested, but he did receive that grant for a special master. Kim, if we could just pull this back, though. What is the harm of having essentially an independent person to come along and look through all the documents, look through all the materials that were taken? You're talking about medical records, tax records, material that's attorney-client privilege. Why? How does that get partisan? Tell me why.
No, it really, there's no harm in this, right? The Democrats should also want this as well, because if this happens in the future, I'm pretty sure they would also want an independent party to step in and to make sure that everything is kosher, especially if President Trump's constitutional rights were in some way violated. Now, I did see a lot of people saying that this is a stall tactic, but because of that leak, from the DOJ, we know that the DOJ is not going to actually try to charge President Trump with anything until after the elections. So this is not a stall tactic. I think this is a good move on President Trump and his team, and I hope they are victorious in this, because I do believe when you're looking at this, it seems that his constitutional rights could have been violated.
We will, again, wait and see who that special master would be. Again, the protocol, how long that would take, and really how long. They want it to be done expeditiously. That's as much as we know thus far, again, according to that federal judge that authorized that request for a special master. So that's what made news over the weekend. If you're kind of catching up, that happened, right? And then you have President Biden on the campaign trail. So I'll switch it to this now. Biden made stops in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and then he was heckled at one point. If you missed it, here's that moment.
All right, God love you. Let him go. Let him go. No, don't let him go. Look, everybody's entitled to be an idiot. No, everybody's entitled. Okay?
Again, heckled. He told him to let him go, but then called him an idiot, the president of the United States. Ben, your thoughts?
Well, I guess idiot is better than semi-fascist or whatever other adjective the president is using. And let's note that he, again, in this speech, attacked critics of his policies as being dangerous, insurrectionary, or at least sympathizers to the insurrectionary. The president bristles whenever he is criticized. Now he's gone and continually, it seems in these speeches, cast half the country as deplorable or worse. And the fact that we see that, I think, is an interesting tactic of this president, but it sets a very dangerous precedent for this country.
Yeah, let's go to that. Name calling, Kim. We've got the gentleman, obviously, that was heckling the president, was called an idiot on stage. You have that moment. But if you go generally broader, MAGA Republicans are extremists. They are semi-fascists, as Ben was pointing out. And then now he's using this new term, Trumpies. Again, where's the shift here? Why the shift for the categorizing those that support the Make America Great Again movement? Why is that happening? Is that a winning strategy for the Democrats?
I just can't imagine that this is a winning strategy. I will say, though, responding to a heckler in a crowd and the way and the manner that President Biden did is almost like responding to trolls on the internet. You try to rise above it and you don't do it, especially when you're someone like the president. Now, I will say this. As soon as he calls out to the heckler, you could tell that he got a little off script. So if I was consulting President Biden, I would say, look, leave the hecklers alone. It is a very divisive language that he's using. He ran on being the unifier in chief. He's doing just the opposite. And I will say this, you can tell that he is more, inclined to put down or degrade a Trump supporter and President Trump than actually talk about his record as the president himself, because he literally has nothing to hang his hat on. So I think this is probably the strategy moving forward to November, but I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, and I'll just say this. You'll see it in news media. They'll push back and say, well, Trump said this, or this is the way Trump talked about people in the news media, or this or that. But you campaigned on being different than that, yet you have a moment there. We'll leave it there. Ben Weingarten, Kim Klacik, we appreciate your time. Always good to hear from you.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson. September is historically the worst performing month for the stock market, so you better be ready for it. The Fed continues to aggressively raise rates, and JP Morgan is forecasting another mega rate hike September the 21st. Is that why Jamie Dimon said an economic hurricane is coming our way? Well, gold and silver have remained remarkably stable despite the Fed aggressively raising rates today. The Patriot Gold Group has a special incentive for Newsmax viewers. Huge! Now precious metals investors can enjoy the no-fee-for-life gold and silver IRA on qualifying rollovers, or enjoy free, discreet, insured shipping on all direct gold and silver purchases. Here's the number, 800-356-4470. Call 800-356-4470 today.